Okay, friends. Let's pull back together and talk about, I'm going to let each group kind of share what they wrote in their Google Doc. The two questions that you were answering were, how are we currently implementing this T? And what changes would we like to make in the future? So the first one was time. Ladies, how do you feel like you're already implementing that T in your classrooms?
Okay, well, the time was basically saying that these teachers had a much better ratio of actually reading and writing versus everything else that you do in school.
Yeah.
Or in that block.
During that block, meaning that their students actually were reading. There was not like a read aloud. I mean, they were actually in a book reading, and that they, anyways, it went on about how they really don't, most kids don't get a lot of that during the school day.
Right.
So we said that currently that we do have a reading block and that kids do read during the school day. They have access to several books daily. All the classrooms have a classroom library. Our school does encourage AR, and we provide pull-out enrichment programs for struggling readers, which allows them to have double reading. And then we thought that things that we could do in the future was that independent reading needs to be enforced in all the classrooms, because that's when they are actually reading the most. Less emphasis on reading for points or goals. Teachers need to instill a love of reading in their students so that they just want to read on their own.
Yeah.
Just get them hooked on books, and then maybe more emphasis on book clubs, literature circles, things like that where they're actually reading.
Good. Good. I asked one of the students in my small group last week, so what did y'all read during Christmas break? And one went, Miss Wolf, we didn't read. It was Christmas break. And I thought, you know, he hasn't learned yet that it is for the love of reading. Okay, texts. That's the next one. What did they say about texts, and how do you feel like we're implementing texts in our classroom, and what can we do to make it better?
This one talked about how your good readers are going to be successful because they can read the text, and how your struggling readers, we're kind of just setting them up to not do well, because if they go to the pull-out program, it's only an hour of their day, and then the rest of their day is spent on texts that are way too hard and above their level.
Okay.
So we were thinking, yeah, but does that mean we have 10 different leveled science books, or 10, how do you transfer knowing that into your content area classes? Ms. Graham mentioned, she can pull books on various grade levels for, certain subject matters. But we were just thinking, how do you differentiate instruction more in content area, in science, in social studies? Because, in 5th grade, we have kids who read 12th grade level, and then we have kids on the 2nd grade level, yet we're teaching the same science standards. So
there is a great new website. Have y'all heard of News ELA? It's a free Web 2.0 site. It will allow you to search content area topics, and they're authentic. But what it does is also allows you to adjust lexile. So in one topic, if you searched animals or plants or space, then you could adjust the lexile from 12th grade all the way down to primer. I can show you in just a second. Once we move to the second topic, I'll pull it up and let you look at it. But I learned about that tool at EdTech. It's my new most favorite authentic nonfiction differentiation. So you don't have to ability group kids. You can help pull up or even print out the same subject area, and it'll take that article and make it more reader friendly and accessible for multiple levels. News ELA. I'll pull it up in just a second.
Okay, I'm standing next to you for the microphone. That's it. If you're like, why are you so close to me? I just like you, Dawn. Okay, so the next one is teaching. Let me come stand over there. What did you guys feel like they were saying about teaching? What?
We had talk.
No, just joking. You're teaching. What did you guys learn from the article? What did it? How do you feel like you implement what it was saying, or what was it saying? How do you implement it? And What can we do to make it better?
Well, we talked about we are modeling, over-explaining, acting out, using the modalities of learning, example, the visual, kinesthetic, and the auditory, the repetition of strategies and demonstrations, and
Yeah.
Modeling, thinking out loud while reading, and making text connections.
Okay.
So we think we're
You feel like you're doing a lot of that.
or trying.
Right. Yeah, you're working towards that.
And the big thing was that they said that things weren't being modeled. We were just assuming that they knew how to do it, and that is something that needs to be carefully examined.
Yeah. Even things that we expect them to know how to do. I know if I haven't done something on the computer in a few months, I might have forgotten. And so it was good to be reminded, and I think students are that way with the things that we teach them in the classroom.
Especially the comprehension strategies, because they don't always, you're asking them the questions and they may be able to find an answer, but they may not be able to think through the answer. And so you're kind of building that bridge
Very
to
good.
that higher level thinking.
Right, and as they go to each grade, we can add on to that. You know, not only are you finding the answer, but you're able to explain it and tell, to support. Okay, and what can you do? What did you feel like we can do to make it better in our classrooms?
Well, we discussed that a lot of what we said we're trying to do, we're making on-the-spot decisions based on what we feel the students need. So we'll try to make those predictions on these lessons that we need to teach going forward,
Right.
not so much, okay,
spot.
on the spot. So try to plan these ahead.
As you go, I see.
Not so much stop what we're doing and dive in. Mhm.
Okay, good. That's very good. Okay, talk. Tell me what you guys learned from the article, how you're implementing that in your classroom, and what things you can change.
Ours, talk is a lot of teachers just talk to find an answer. What color is the sky? Blue. What day is it? And it's just
Right.
ask and respond, basically. But we need to be asking more open-ended questions and thought questions and connection questions to our students every day to get them thinking and being more of a critical thinker instead of just a responder and regurgitating things back. So we wrote that most of the time it is like answer and response. You want to know what the answer is. What's the answer? But we need to be more active in opening that up to why is that the answer? How did you come up with the answer? Have you had anything in your life to relate to what we're doing and things like that?
Okay, good. And with each other, let them ask each other those questions, because a lot of times they have better questions than we do. Okay, what T are you? Task. Okay, so what did you learn? And what did you say?
It basically talked about how doing things for a longer period of time, like if you're going to have a writing assignment, maybe carry it over the course of, it said something like 10 days or more. Instead of just doing something new every day, maybe more quality versus quantity. And,
Okay.
giving students choice in their task will make it more meaningful to them and will help them be more engaged in the assignment, help them producing more quality work that way.
Okay, good. Okay, and finally, testing.
It talked about basically two types of testing, and we felt like that there is a combination that we use. One was just the achievement-based testing or grading, and the other was more along the line of rubrics. They didn't call it that; they called it effort and improvement grading, where you're giving the children, all children, more of a chance to succeed that way because you have certain guidelines. The grading responsibility moves over to the students rather than it just being on the teacher. And when you just do the achievement grading, the smart kids always have the good grades and the low kids always have the low grades, basically, and they kind of feel like they're never going to get out of that hole. But with this achievement-based, with the effort and improvement, everybody's got more of a chance. You're kind of leveling the playing field a little bit because they know this is what I need to do to get this grade. And you're kind of looking at where they are and letting them see growth. Not necessarily, you've got to be up here with these other children. More kind of
And
like
giving
our
them
SLOs.
opportunities to correct?
Yes.
Is that what you're
yes,
kind of
more
going?
And we felt like a healthier balance between those two types of grading would be very nice. less emphasis. We put a lot of emphasis on just testing, and we have to prepare for those tests. We have to get the kids prepared for those, so we stop and we tend to teach more toward those tests, especially the couple of weeks before we're going to give a test of some sort. So it's kind of hard to find that healthy balance with what we have to do.
Okay.
I thought that was, I was just looking at that section there, but there was the last paragraph where it says, I must also note that we observed almost no test preparation activity in these classrooms.
They did a study with the two different types of testing.
And then it said in the less effective teachers' classrooms that they found test preparation activity because the less effective teachers
wear 'em
truly
out.
don't know what to do. And as a result, they use the prepackaged test preparation activities to make up for less effective teaching throughout the year. That's kind of interesting.
Yes, well, and you think about the correlation between student engagement and student learning. How engaged are you in fact recall?
Right.
You're not very much. I want to show you the News ELA site really quickly since you guys showed interest. I just pulled up an article because I know 2 grade levels do weather. And so this is a current article that was written on January 6th. Deep freeze hits much of the U.S. And you see over here where it'll let you adjust the Lexile level and it'll immediately adjust the article. You can also have students write a response, a summary, or what were your takeaways, and then there is a quiz, although I think there are more authentic ways to, as we just discussed. You can also click back and it will allow you to start with the grade level first. So if it begins with 2nd through 11th through 12th grade. So if you have a kid reading on a 12th grade level, you may want to start with the articles there that they have that go up that high, or vice versa with 2nd grade. But it's a free site. You can sign in with an email address and a password, or you can also sign in with a Google account. All right. Just wanted to show you that that's a resource that can help.
Okay, so those are all good things. I really appreciated that article because, I've noticed as a teacher that, there's certain some teachers may have very different styles, but they're very successful in the classroom. Their students really are learning. And, it just goes to show that it really has less to do with that and more to do with teachers that are prepared and are, using these 6 T's that it talks about. Okay, we are going to switch gears now from our reading workshop to our writing workshop. I 3-hole punched these articles. I didn't last month, I'm sorry. But this month I remembered so that you could put them in your notebooks. And the next part we are going to move into is our writing workshop. And hopefully you all brought your earbuds or some sort of headphones. I'm looking around and it appears that I see lots of them. So that's good. If you do not have any earbuds or headphones, let me know and we will work out something for you. But what we are going to do is go to this website. I think I'm on slide 4 of our blend space. And there is this website called mpr.org.
You got to go to the next slide. I didn't make that.
Yeah, slide 5, you can go. I'm sorry, I had already opened it up. But you can open it in a new tab. And if you will, just go ahead and choose one of these "this I believe" statements. It's writing that people have done about different beliefs they have based on their personal experience. So they're basically narratives that they're reading. And we're just going to take 2 or 3 minutes to listen to one. And it's going to give you an idea. We're going to come back together and talk about it. And then you guys are going to start your writing assignment for this semester, which is going to be a "this I believe" statement, but it's going to be based on what you believe about literacy instruction. And actually, it's going to be your kid watching assignment for March. We're going to work on it each month, and in March, that's what you're going to turn in as your kid watching assignment. So, if you will, go ahead and choose one of those "this I believe" podcasts to listen to. And then we're going to come back together and talk about them briefly before you start your own narrative.